Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and I wanted to post this video because it's kind of crazy what happened to this car, and just as a reference for you guys in order to fix your problem, or hopefully fix your problem the easiest way possible if you end up with something like this of what happened to this car. And this car, basically we did some valve cover gaskets, and the car left, and afterwards the customer himself changed the high pressure fuel pump right there. I don't know why, and the car came back to us with codes, 2 codes. They're almost like permanent. You erase them and they show up immediately back on the scanner, and the 2 codes were one camshaft position sensor problem with the circuit, with the electricity, and one fuel regulator, which the fuel regulators in this case should be the ones they're actually on the actual pumps right here, high pressure fuel pumps. Now I tried to start chasing this with the high pressure fuel pump, and I thought because this one was changed, I thought that maybe the other one is messed up. This sensor shouldn't be here, by the way. They just plugged it up because there's a tap on the back. That these pumps, kind of a nasty deal when you get these pumps, they don't have the tap, and you have to get the tap out from the old pump to the new one, and the tap does not have anything to unscrew it with. So I end up actually cutting the tap and with straight lines on the side to make it like a 11 or 12 millimeter wrench to fit, so that I can make it fit, and then so I can take it out. But the situation was that I tried to chase first the high pressure fuel pump codes. I couldn't get anywhere, and on this specific Audi, that's a Q7 with this V8 4.2 liter, or whatever car you're working on, you need to look at the fuses also before you actually start chasing these electrical problems. And in this case, there's a fuse box right here that I did some research online, and this fuse box here, actually the fuse box here, one of the fuses would go bad sometimes or explode if they get shorted. And I checked that fuse, it was 10 amp fuse, and there were a bunch of controls on that fuse, but the fuse was fine. Oh my god, look at this, somebody forgot to install this. So in my case, I ended up chasing I left the high pressure fuel pump sensor alone and started chasing the camshaft sensor, because sometimes one of those two, if there's an electrical problem with either the pump or the camshaft sensor, it'll trigger the opposite. Meaning, if there's a problem with the camshaft, it'll trigger the camshaft and the pressure pump's fault, or the opposite. If there's a problem with the pump, it'll trigger the pump and the camshaft, because they may be on the same circuit. That's a very common thing with German cars. So the camshaft sensor on this car is here. One is here, one is down there, and they already it looked like they already changed the sensors themselves, this owner, before he brought it back here. So I started chasing these sensors on my program. I found some of the wiring, with the description. I was trying to find these wires, to which sensors they belong, to try to see which connections they go to the ECU, because sometimes you need to check these wires for continuity to the ECU. And in my case, in a lot of cases, the middle wire is actually the signal coming from the ECU, and it should be around 5 volts. Always is the middle wire. The other wires you need to see on the diagram. In my diagram, I was kind of guessing. I saw the wires, but the colors didn't correspond to what I was seeing here on the car, not on my program here that we use. The OEM description, it had too many sections that I would have to go through. And it was like a last resort. It wasn't like a whole diagram. You would have to go on every separate section to actually find out where you are. That would have been a last resort, but I ended up kind of on the way of elimination to I started unplugging these camshafts to see which camshaft is actually giving me the fault, and it ended up being So it wasn't these. So this one is on the top, this one is on top, there's one on the bottom, and there ended up being this one here, on the one on the bottom side. Now I already plugged it in. Let me see if I can turn the light on. Yeah, right there, that's the sensor, and you can see this is the heat shrink wrap that I just installed, because what happened is somebody had fixed the wiring right close to the camshaft position sensor, to the actual plug. Somebody had ended up fixing the wiring, and they did not solder the wiring. They only kind of just put it together by hand, and the wiring had rusted and it wasn't giving any contact. That's how I realized. Also, as soon as I saw it, I realized that would be the problem, because of the rust and the situation that it wasn't even soldered. And as soon as I soldered it, I cleaned it up. I shrink wrapped each individual wire, and then a big shrink wrap on the outside. That's the one you saw. And cranked up the car. All the codes are gone. I just test drove the car also for about 10 miles. No codes, no nothing, before they would show up immediately. So I'll show you the codes again in the description. If you end up seeing any of those, that's the troubleshooting that you need to go through. Of course, you may have to replace the camshaft position sensor in your case if it's giving electrical fault. Of course, may not be the same as this electrical wire being bad, because someone already did that. But you would need, in your case, maybe if the wires are bad, you need to check for continuity between the wires and the ECU. Now, there's a whole another situation of which connector it has on the ECU plugs. And that one, I may try to see if I can take a picture of that. If not, you will have to find it yourself online to check for continuity in case you don't have a signal in the wires. Remember, always the middle wire is the 5 volts from the ECU. That's the one you check from the ECU. If you have no signal there, of course, when the key is on, if you got no signal on the middle wire, then there's a problem with the wire going from the ECU, or there's a problem with the actual ECU by itself. Okay, guys, thanks again for watching. I couldn't find a lot of information online, so that's why I'm trying to post this, so I can give you some guidance of what you can do to try to diagnose this. If you are having trouble with something like this, and you have tried what I just told you, and you need more help, you can leave your questions in the comment section. I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, or please like my videos, and please subscribe. Thank you.